Yep, you're reading the title of this video correctly. The only 5 bags I really need. Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. I hope that you're all having an amazing day. Some of you might think that I'm a little bit crazy when it comes to this topic, considering that I am such a huge handbag lover, but it's something that I've been thinking about for a while, and it's also a video that I've been trying to film for a while as well. Now, I sat down a couple of months ago and I thought, okay, if I was to be completely honest with myself, and if I was to strip away any type of memory, if I was to detach any type of emotion, if I was to erase sentimental value and just focus on the cold hard handbags of my collection and see them as nothing more, what would be my magic number? What would be the ideal number of handbags that I would need? How would I categorize them? And most importantly, which handbags would I choose? Well, fellow handbag lovers, 5 is my magic number, and this is the list that I came up with. Now, really quickly, even though I have put the following handbags into these categories, they're in there pretty loosely because I feel that the majority of them do fall into multiple categories. And that really comes down to the type of person that I am, in the sense that when it comes to luxury goods, you guys know this, when it comes to luxury goods, be it handbags, small leather goods, or what have you, versatility is key. Versatility is important to me. So just keep that in mind. All right, are we ready? Let's get into it. The first category is travel, and the handbag that I chose is the Chanel wallet on chain with the black caviar leather and the gold hardware. So when it comes to travel bags, I'm not the type of person that ends up using multiple bags. Like, I don't end up packing multiple bags in my luggage. I'm more of a one and done type of person. Plus, it makes it a whole lot easier for me to just focus on one bag instead of a bunch of different bags. And for me, the Chanel wallet on chain ends up checking off all of the marks when it comes to my perfect travel bag. It's small, it's inconspicuous, it doesn't have this ginormous logo. I like the fact that it also allows me to carry all of my travel essentials without any issues. And really, it also helps me to not get carried away with what I'm fitting inside of my bag. Because we all know that on the daily, when I'm not traveling, I have a tendency to throw everything in the kitchen sink. If I have space in a bag, I will find something to fill that space. So by going for a smaller handbag, it really helps me to focus and not get carried away with what it is that I'm carrying inside of the bag, right? So I absolutely love the size. I also like the fact that it comes with this amazing chain that's very generous. And if I wanted to be hands-free, I have that option. I can either use it as a shoulder bag, as a crossbody bag. I can also end up hiding the chain and use this as a clutch. So for me, this is the perfect bag to transition from day to night whenever we are traveling, because during the day, I can use it crossbody and I'm sightseeing. And in the evening, if we're going to a nice restaurant, I hide the chain and I use it as a clutch and I'm good to go. I don't have to think about any other bag. So I think that this is absolutely wonderful. And another thing, another reason why the wallet on chain is also my perfect travel bag is because of the caviar leather. Now, with the caviar leather, we all know that it's very, very durable. And when it comes to traveling, if I am leaving sunny Southern California and if I'm arriving in rainy Paris, I don't have to worry about my bag. I don't have to worry about water stains. I don't have to worry about this, that, or the other, just because the caviar leather is so incredibly carefree. And it's also very, very durable. This has pretty much been my travel bag of choice for the last, pretty much since I got it. So I just think it's wonderful. And like I said, for myself, it really ends up checking off all of those marks. The fact that I'm able to navigate through the crowds with ease. And there are many times, actually what I prefer to do is I like to put this underneath my coat, and it just makes me feel a little bit more comfortable whenever I am in those big crowds. If we are going somewhere that's very, very touristy, I have the bag underneath my coat and I can focus on what it is that we're looking at or where we are, instead of necessarily thinking, okay, what's going on with my bag? Where's my bag? What's this? What's that? So I really like that aspect as well. In a sense, I guess you can say it gives me peace of mind whenever I carry such a small bag whenever we are traveling. So to me, this is absolutely, without a doubt, my perfect travel bag. So the Chanel wallet on chain and the black caviar leather, and even though it's small, it still packs a punch, but it really helps me focus on not, like I said before, not getting too carried away with what I end up putting in here, because like I said, if I have space, oh yeah, I will find a way. I will find a way to fill that space, but absolutely fantastic handbag. The next category is tote / my everyday, and the handbag that I chose is the Louis Vuitton Neverfull MM in the Damier Azur. All right, so we all know that totes are definitely my jam. It is my favorite style of bag. It is my handbag of choice. But when it comes to the Louis Vuitton Neverfull MM, this bag checks off all the marks. It checks off everything I need when I'm looking for a tote. I have 5 things that I always look for, those things being: number 1, multi-use. So the fact that I can incorporate this bag into my lifestyle various ways, I think is fabulous. I personally love using it as an everyday bag. I've used it as a work bag. I've used it as a beach bag. And I feel like the possibilities are endless on how you can incorporate this handbag into your collection, or into my collection. And I absolutely love that. Another thing that I always look for is how spacious it is. Now this, especially the Louis Vuitton Neverfull MM, I think it is the perfect size because it's not too oversized and it's not too small, but it is still insanely spacious in here. I know currently I am using a Samorga organizer in here just because it makes it a little bit easier, but organizer or not, this bag is just very spacious. And unlike the Chanel wallet on chain, I can end up carrying everything in the kitchen sink. So I can carry my sink, your sink, Betty's sink, everybody's sink in here, no problem. So I think it's absolutely fabulous. Another thing that I look for is comfort. Now, whether I end up carrying everything in the kitchen sink or if I end up scaling it back a little bit, this bag for me is very comfortable to use. It never, the handles here never dig into my skin. Whether I use it as a shoulder bag, if I use it on the crook of my arm, or as a hand carry bag, it's never the type of bag that for me, when I get home, I'm like, oh, thank God, I need to get rid of this bag. It's so uncomfortable. It's so heavy. It's so this. That's never been the case for me. All the years that I've had it, I've always felt it's very easy to use. It's very comfortable to use as well. Another thing that I look for is the simplicity. Now, I'm not really one to go for bags in general that have too many bells and whistles. And with the Neverfull MM, I just feel that it is so incredibly simple. But the simplicity speaks volumes because you don't have a bunch of zippers. You don't have, you know, a bunch of little leather tabs or anything like that. It's just very simple, and it's not an eyesore. I feel like because it is so simple, it's a very classic bag, and it's a bag that I think is going to be around for the next 100 years when it comes to Louis Vuitton. So I think that the simplicity really makes it very timeless. Yeah, I love the fact that it just doesn't have this, that, zippers and all this stuff going on. Definitely not. And even on the inside, you pretty much have just one zippered, one little zippered pocket here. And other than that, it's very simple. So I absolutely love that, and I appreciate it so incredibly much. Another thing that I look for when it comes to totes is how casual they are. Now, I am a very casual dresser. And to me, the reason why I call this my everyday is because of that. I want a bag that just pretty much ends up, I guess, complementing my lifestyle and the type of person that I am. So a very casual bag, a very oversized casual tote is something that I'm always looking for. And the fact that it is so casual, I think, is wonderful. There are other things that I also appreciate about the Louis Vuitton Neverfull MM when it comes to a tote. One of those being the fact that it doesn't have any dividers on the inside. The fact that it doesn't have a zippered closure either. Now, I know that usually when it comes to totes, a lot of people do prefer to have a zippered closure for security. And I can definitely understand that. I can definitely see that aspect. But for me personally, it's not something that, it's never a deal breaker. It's never something that I'm looking for. it's actually the opposite. I appreciate a tote that has no zipper because I feel like it makes it that easier for me to get in and out of it. Plus, it allows me the chance to see everything at a glance. So I absolutely love that. I don't have a bunch of dividers that I have to worry about or anything like that. And then if I wanted to, you have the option of an organizer if you wanted to do that. I also ended up choosing the Demi-Azur over the other two prints that I have, just because I feel like this one makes it that much more comfortable for me to use as well, which might seem kind of crazy considering that Demi-Azur is prone to color transfer if you do have darker colored clothing and whatnot. And I actually already experienced color transfer a few years ago, but I think it's because of that I was able to pretty much lift it. But I think it's because of that I'm that much more comfortable with it, and I don't think about it. It's just kind of very easy grab and go type of bag for me. So the Demi-Azur, I guess, gives me a little bit more comfort than the other two prints, definitely. So my everyday, my tote, my ride or die will forever be the Louis Vuitton Neverfull MM in the Demi-Azur. The next category is my everything. And I know some of you might be thinking, okay, well, what does my everything entail? What do you mean by everything? That's not really how some people end up categorizing handbags in general, right? I totally get that. But for me, everything is a bag that checks off literally every single mark when it comes to handbags, not style, but just handbags. So a bag that is comfortable, a bag that I can transition from day to night, a bag that fits all of my essentials, a bag that goes with my entire wardrobe, whether I am using a t-shirt and jeans or whether I'm going for LBDs, it doesn't matter. It literally goes with everything. And for me, that bag is the Chanel Classic Flap in the size medium with the black caviar leather and the silver hardware. So like I said before, without it being a tote, without it being a specific style, this bag literally checks off everything that I'm looking for when it comes to a handbag. Plus, it's also very, very carefree, again, because of the caviar leather. I don't have to worry about any type of weather that I'm using it in. Actually, it seems like whenever it does rain here, I do prefer to go for caviar, and I like to take pictures of my caviar bags in the rain. Some people think that is so cringe, but for me, it makes me even happier that I'm able to use a bag that I really love, that really checks off all those marks in any type of weather, you know? So I think that's absolutely wonderful. And as I mentioned before, the everything bag has to go with my lifestyle, and it has to also go with my entire wardrobe. I know that some people feel that when it comes to the classic flaps, they're a little too dressed up, they're a little too much. I strongly disagree. I think that when it comes to the classic flaps, they are very easy to dress up and dress down. And like I mentioned before, I am a very, very casual dresser. I mean, I pretty much wear a t-shirt, jeans, and sneakers every single day. It's not like I have the type of lifestyle where I have to wear a ball gown that's all decked out or I'm dressed to the nines or anything like that. Definitely not. So the fact that I can use this with my t-shirt, jeans, my shorts, and my sneakers, I think is wonderful. And on the occasions when I do have to dress up, and I do wear my little black dresses, this is also perfect. So again, going back to the everything. Speaking of casual, I also wanted to point out the silver hardware. That's another reason why this is the perfect combination for my everything bag. Now, many of you guys know that my favorite combination when it comes to handbags is a black leather handbag with gold hardware. I think that combination is absolutely gorgeous. I think that also with gold hardware, it's very easy to dress up and dress down. But I feel that the silver hardware, it definitely adds a little bit of a casual element that the gold hardware doesn't. I'm not saying that you can't dress up silver hardware, because you absolutely can, especially in a classic flap, but I still think that when I'm wearing a very casual outfit with the silver hardware, it again adds that type of, it adds that casual element to it that the gold hardware doesn't. So I absolutely, absolutely love that. And as I said before, this size ends up fitting all of my daily essentials, no problem. I can also fit a little bit more if need be. It's not too big and it's not too small, so that's wonderful. And I also love how I can end up wearing this bag. I can use it multiple ways. If I wanted to double up the straps and use it as a shoulder bag, if I wanted to single it and use it as a longer shoulder bag, I have that option. Or if I wanted to hand carry it or put it on the crook of my arm, all of those things. It gives me so many ways to be able to use it. So like I said before, I know it might not make a whole lot of sense because when you say everything, it's maybe a little too vague, but hopefully I was able to express my madness and you guys see why. The Chanel Classic Flap in the size medium with the black caviar leather and the silver hardware is my everything bag. The next category is hand carry. Hand carry for me also doubles up as using it on the crook of your arm. Now when it comes to a hand carry bag, I completely understand that they are not the most user friendly, especially if you're, let's say, out and about, you're out shopping. You have to have one hand either on your bag or it's on the crook of your arm, and depending upon how big it is or what you have in it, it can get pretty heavy, and you only have one other free hand, right? I totally get that. But at the same time, sometimes I don't want to use a crossbody bag. Sometimes I don't want to use a shoulder bag. Sometimes I just absolutely want a hand carry bag. There's something about a hand carry bag that no other handbag style gives me. I don't know, maybe that sounds a little bit weird, but it's true. And this bag checks off that mark plus a few others. I am talking about the Givenchy Antigona in the size small in the black grain leather with the silver hardware. So the Givenchy Antigona is my perfect hand carry bag. I solely use it as a hand carry bag or on the crook of my arm. Even though it does come with a removable strap, I despise using this strap. I think I've used it maybe once or twice the entire time that I've had this bag, and I got it in 2017 when we were in London. So I don't like it. I've switched out the strap, and even then it just feels really weird for me to use this bag on my shoulder. Plus I think that the handles just don't, I don't know, it looks kind of awkward on me. I don't know if you guys feel the same way. If you do, let me know in the comment section down below. But yeah, I just really end up using this strap. It might sound a little bit silly. I use it as a decorative piece on this bag. I think it looks fantastic as just a decorative strap on this bag. Now I also have to confess something, and another reason why this is the perfect hand carry bag for me. I'm not gonna say that always, but sometimes I can be pretty clumsy whenever I'm out shopping, and I do have a tendency to bump into things, especially if it's like a really narrow area, or even if it's not narrow. If there is one table in this enormous room, I will find that one table and bump into it with my handbag. So for me, it was imperative to have a hand carry bag that's also very durable. And like I said, I've had this bag since 2017 and it pretty much looks as good as new. There are no scratches. It doesn't look like it's all trashed or anything like that. So I needed something that was a little bit, I guess you can say mini proof as well, with how clumsy I can be. So the durability of a hand carry bag was absolutely necessary. Another thing that I really love about the Antigona is I love the size. I love how, even though this is the small size, it's still pretty large and it fits everything that I need in here. Yes, it can sometimes get a little bit heavy because it's pretty much an all leather handbag, but there's just something about it. I also love this chunky zipper. This chunky zipper is by far my favorite detail when it comes to this bag. And it's also pretty simple, even though it does have this this strap as a decoration, and I also added a luggage tag to give it a little bit more oomph. But in general, it's such a simple bag. It's such a casual bag, and the fact that you can take off the strap completely and just use it as a hand carry bag and just have it look that way, I think is amazing. So yeah, this guy definitely takes the cake, and it's what I'm looking for, and it's what I need when it comes to a hand carry bag. The last category is color. Now, up until this point, all of the bags that I've shared with you are pretty much neutrals. Some people might also call them safe colors. And even though I think that this next bag can also be considered a neutral, I knew I had to have color. I had to have a color handbag in this lineup. And you guys know that I do end up leaning more towards reds and pinks, but out of the two, I am like a moth to a flame when it comes to a red handbag. And even though I do have a few red handbags in my collection, this one is absolutely perfect. Plus, it also has some other amazing qualities. But the bag that I chose for my color handbag is red. And the bag is the Loewe puzzle bag in the size small in the color scarlet. This is the perfect shade of red. On camera, unfortunately, it's showing up a little bit more orange red. I am not a fan of orange red whatsoever. And it's not too dark either. It doesn't have this funky undertone. It is just legit the perfect red. I can't describe it any better, honestly. I'm doing a terrible job at describing the shade of red, but in my eyes, it is absolutely perfect. Plus, I love that this is also a very casual bag. It's very comfortable. This is another bag that I also like to use on the crook of my arm or as a hand carry bag, even though it does come with this strap. I'm not a fan of this strap. I know I can swap it out, and I have done that before, but I just love carrying this bag like this. It's not too big of a bag either. Like, I don't want this gnarly, enormous, big red bag either, and I don't want something itty bitty. I want something that's just going to give me that perfect splash of red that I'm looking for, that just, again, checks off that mark when it comes to a colored bag that also has other fantastic qualities. So this is it. I'm able to fit all of my essentials in here, no problem. It has a very comfortable zipper, and it's also very unique. I talked about this in a previous Minx Monday. This bag is unlike anything else that I have in my collection. I feel like this bag it kind of sticks out like a sore thumb when you're out in public, but not in a bad way, in a very good way, in the sense that it totally just captures your eyes. It doesn't look like every other bag. It's just very, very unique, and that's another reason why this one was the perfect colored bag, because it also has those elements. So as far as my perfect red bag that checks off that mark, that checks off that pop of color that I'm looking for without it being too big, too small, it's like Goldilocks, it's just right, it is absolutely this beauty right here. Now, in true mini fashion, it wouldn't be one of my videos if I didn't also include a bonus bag. Yes, we all know I have a tendency to do this, but if I was to add a sixth bag to this lineup, I would categorize it as extra, and the bag that I would choose would be the Prada Crystal Re-Edition in the color black. Now, you guys have heard me talk about this bag before. It's small, but it packs a punch. It's very comfortable. It fits all of my daily essentials and then some. All of that is true. But the reason why I would categorize it as extra and why it would be my sixth bag is because there are some days when I need to have a bag that has a little bit more oomph, some type of something. It has a je ne sais quoi. I can't even put my finger on when it comes to a sparkly bag. I just have to have it. I need to have it like a fish needs water. As crazy and as idiotic as that sounds, it makes absolute sense to me. So you know what? Let's not call it a bonus bag. Let's call it what it really is. It is the sixth bag. Absolutely. Just like there are some days when I feel a little bit spicy, there are some days when I feel a whole lot of sparkle and I have to have something that shows off that sparkle. This is it. Absolutely. So the Prada Crystal Re-Edition in the color black. All right, guys, so that does it for my video. I also wanted to mention a few other things. When I was going through this list, there were times when parts of me felt like I was almost betraying other bags that I have in my collection. As crazy as that sounds, I felt like I was betraying some of my forever bags or some of the bags that I have a lot of sentimental value towards because of X, Y, and Z. And there were times when I was thinking, oh my gosh, you have to include it. You have to include it. But I promised myself that I was going to completely detach from everything and just view the collection as just straight up bags, nothing more, nothing less. Not to think about what makes my heart sing, not to think about, the memories that I have with this or with that or what have you, none of that. So it was a little bit eye-opening that I found it somewhat difficult at times, of course, not the whole time, but at times when I just felt like I couldn't detach. I felt like I was betraying a bag because I didn't include it. Doesn't that sound gnarly? Like, what? But yeah, I'm really happy with the 5 that I chose, and I absolutely know that if it came down to it, when it comes to needing a bag, these are the 5 that I would choose. Of course, nobody needs 5 bags. I mean, really, you only need 1 bag, right? But yeah, going from the collection that I have to just needing the 5 that I have, that I chose, I think it's pretty awesome, honestly. I thought that was pretty good. I was really proud of myself. But yeah, the whole process was kind of weird. It was kind of crazy, but again, I'm very, very happy with the ones that I chose. Another thing that I wanted to mention is that I'm sure a lot of you guys are probably wondering why I don't have a category for a crossbody bag. Now, crossbody bags, even though I can absolutely appreciate what they bring to the table and the fact that you are hands-free, I think is absolutely amazing. A crossbody bag is definitely not something that is a make or break for my collection. It's not something that I look for. If a bag is a crossbody, I view it as a bonus, not as a necessity. So that's what I also wanted to incorporate this part into the video, because I'm sure some people are going to be wondering, okay, what's up with the crossbody bag? And like I said before, I can appreciate what they bring to the table and how wonderful it is to be hands-free. And I am somewhat hands-free with some of the bags that I chose, but I'm talking about a straight up just crossbody bag. It's not something that is imperative for me. It's not something that is, it's not something that I look for when it comes to handbags. I just view it as a bonus. I think it would be interesting to see if this list does end up changing as time goes by. Some of these bags I think are set in stone, while others have a little bit more wiggle room. But either way, I think it would be crazy to see if it does change, you know, within 6 months, a year, or 5 years. Who knows? But I would love to know, what is your magic number? What are the ideal number of bags that you would need? How would you categorize them? If you guys want to share with us in the comment section down below, I think that would be amazing. If you guys want to make this into a video or a tag video, I think that would be amazing as well. That way you can end up sharing your categories and why you have them in that category, because of course they're not going to be the same as mine, because everybody needs something different, right? But either way, I welcome your guys' comments down below. I hope that you enjoyed it. If you did, make sure and give it a thumbs up. If you haven't already and you would like to, please subscribe to my YouTube channel, and I'll see you guys later. And as always, make it a fabulous day or not. The choice is yours. Have a great day.